Well, welcome to our next edition of All Three Sports TV. It's me, Bill, again. And this time, I just got my brand new bike in the box at the house, so I'm ready to put the thing together. All right, so here we are. If you've got a work stand at home, I would highly recommend using that to assemble your bike. So I've got one here, so that's what I'm going to use. Now, I don't want to wrap the whole thing right now. I just want to expose my seat post opening so I can insert the seat post to secure it with that. So with my trusty wire cutters, I'm just going to start to remove some pieces of the foam protection just so I can get at what I need to get at. All right, seat post and seat goes into frame set. Now this is a P3 carbon, so there's a couple steps we want to be careful with when inserting the seat post and torquing down on these things. So number one, just insert the seat post to a reasonable depth. And then we want to take our 4mm Allen wrench on these nuts, and we just want to tighten them to be snug. Don't be cranking these things down. We're going to be using a torque wrench in a second, but I want enough to where it's going to hold this seat in place so I can get up on the work stand. Okay, here we go. Now just go crazy and take all that stuff off. Okay, first step, we want to get our handlebars on the bike and the front brake on. So I want to rotate the stem forward, take off the stem cap. For this particular bike, all I need for this operation is a 5mm Allen wrench, which I have here. So cables have already been run, everything's been cut to length, so really all you need to do is drop your bar into the stem and then very carefully thread the stem cap on. A really important thing on stem mounting is really to make sure that you have an equal amount of space in the gap on the top as well as the bottom. So just pay attention to that while you're putting it together. And we're just going to make sure our bars are nice and centered, and then our base bar line follows approximately the line of the top tube on this one, for instance. And then we're going to start to cinch these things down. Again, just get them nice and snug because we're going to use a torque wrench later to make sure they're the proper torque. Now for the front brake. The brake bolt will be on the brake itself, so you're going to want to take that off. The washer will stay against the brake itself. That's going to go between the brake and the fork. Then all we do is slide it into the hole, slip this one into the back, and again with our little 5mm, all we're going to do is fasten it down. Make sure our brake is nicely centered, and then give it a good amount of tension. All right, first on this bike, or next on this bike rather, we're going to install the armrest. Now, depending on what kind of Aerobars you get, or if it's even a tri-bike, it might be a road bike, some of this is certainly going to vary. But for the Vision TT bars like these are the armrests that come with them, and they need to be mounted like so, with the back portion actually being the elongated section. So keep that in mind. Now, you'll probably get two sets of risers. With these, we like to send both the 12.5 as well as the 25mm riser sets. We always advise to use the 25mm riser, as this is probably the best height for most folks. So really, installation is pretty simple. I just put my longer bolts through the armrest. I start with some finger screwing here. And with my 3mm Allen wrench, I'm just going to go on and snug these things down. Just a decent snug. They recommend 8 Newton-meters. I found that to be a little unrealistic, so I'm going to go with just tight enough. If you don't have one of these, torque wrench that is, and you bought a carbon fiber bicycle, go down to the Home Depot, buy yourself one, because it's indispensable. It's the only way to guarantee you're not going to completely crush your carbon on carbon parts. So with this particular bike, the P3s and the P2 carbons both require no more than 4 Newton-meters of torque on the seat post clamp. So I've got it set to go off at 4, and with my 4mm, I'm just going to tighten until I hear that tail snap. Okay, turning my attention to the stem now. This particular stem has a rating of 12 Newton meters for their bolt's torque, so I've already adjusted my torque wrench and off we go on this. Beautiful. Fantastic. I just have alternating bolts like this. Make sure that I keep an even space on the top and bottom. Well, there we go. It's all together. All you need now is put on your pedals, put some air in the tires, and off you go. Just a quick review. Remember, first thing we want to do once we unpack it, put the seat post in, secure that to the bike so you can have something to hang it with. It's always best to do this with it on the work stand. Work from the front to back. Observe all your torque rules when possible. And don't forget to put air in. And damn, you're ready to go. Be careful when you're taking the stuff out of the box. Make sure you get everything, because pretty much every bike is going to have a bag of goodies. This particular bag of goodies has a armrest pads. It's got the quick release for the front wheel. It's got the spacers for the armrest. It's going to have pedal washers. People ask me about these all the time. These are pedal washers that go between the pedals and the crank arms. So secure your little bag. Don't lose it, because you're going to need everything in there.